Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really zeroing in on something I know a lot of listeners think about, how to genuinely improve your English practice and boost that confidence, get more fluent.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've looked through a ton of info, really, to pull out the most practical, effective ways you can actually weave English into your life. Get beyond just memorizing lists.
It's something we hear a lot, isn't it? People want to get better, they want to be fluent, but finding ways to practice consistently, ways that actually will work and feel engaging,
Yeah,
that can be tough.
totally. They get stuck.
Learners often hit a plateau, yeah.
Right. So our mission here today is basically to give you some concrete techniques, stuff you can literally start doing, like today. Real-world practice that helps you use the language, not just study it.
And we should probably tackle the big one right away, the fear.
Oh, definitely. That fear of making mistakes, it holds so many people back. That worry about sounding, I don't know, silly or getting judged.
It's a major hurdle.
It really is. But here's the thing, and this is so important. Mistakes are not. They're not failures. They're actually feedback. Essential feedback. They show you exactly where you need to focus, where the gaps are. Think of them like signposts on the road to getting better.
That's a great way to put it, signposts.
So let's dive into some powerful practice methods that actually embrace those moments, those learning opportunities. And let's start with, well, the most obvious one, speaking.
Right. Speaking. Even when there's nobody else around, there's a technique that's surprisingly effective. You can do it pretty much anytime, anywhere.
And that is...
Just talking to yourself in English.
Okay. I know that might sound a little odd to some people.
Maybe at first.
But think about it. As you're just, going about your day, narrate what you're doing out loud, or even just in your head to start.
Like what? Give us an example.
Okay, so making breakfast. You could say, okay, I'm getting the eggs out, or this coffee smells good, looking out the window. Ah, looks like it might rain. Simple things. Time to brush my teeth.
And doing that, it forces your brain to actually form English sentences in real time about your real life.
Exactly. You're retrieving vocabulary, structuring sentences on the fly. It connects the language directly to what's happening.
It activates what you already know.
Yeah.
Brilliant, really. And building on that, another thing that's incredibly useful is recording yourself.
Yes. This one can feel a bit awkward too, can it? Listening back to your own voice.
It can. But the value is immense. When you listen back, you really notice things about your pronunciation, maybe words you stumble over, or, your sentence rhythm.
So you identify specific things to work on.
Precisely. And it gives you a baseline. You can hear your progress over time, which is honestly super motivating when you feel like you're not improving fast enough.
That makes sense. Seeing, or rather hearing, the progress.
Yeah. And speaking of pronunciation and rhythm, that brings us to shadowing.
Shadowing. Okay, explain that for anyone who hasn't heard the term.
Sure. Shadowing is basically like being an echo. You listen to a native English speaker, say, from a recording, and you try to speak along with them, copying them almost simultaneously.
Like mimicking them in real time.
Exactly. You're trying to match their sounds, their intonation, their speed, the pauses, everything.
Wow. That sounds challenging.
It is. But it's fantastic for tuning your ear and your mouth to the sounds of English. It helps you get that natural flow, the ups and downs, the stress patterns.
The musicality, you could say.
That's it, the musicality.
Yeah.
And you don't need special materials.
Right. You can use podcasts.
Perfect.
Or clips from TV shows, YouTube videos.
Anything where you have clear audio of native speakers. The absolute key, though, is choosing stuff you like.
Because
Because if you find it boring, you're just not going to stick with it. Motivation is huge. Choose something fun, something interesting to you.
Good point. That link to enjoyment really makes a difference. Okay, so let's switch it up a bit. What about learning while you're maybe relaxing? Learning through entertainment.
Yes, this is a big one. Watching English movies or TV shows. It's fun, right? But it's also incredibly effective for improving your listening skills and picking up new words and phrases.
And you see the language used in context.
Exactly. Context is everything. You hear how words are really used, you see the body language, you get the tone. It adds so many layers to understanding, and there's a smart way to approach it with subtitles.
Oh, do tell.
Well, you can start with subtitles in your own language just so you can follow the story easily. Get comfortable.
Okay.
Then, the next step, switch to English subtitles.
Right, so you're connecting the sounds you hear with the words you see.
Precisely. It really reinforces that connection. And then, the ultimate step, where the real listening gains happen.
Let me guess, no subtitles.
You got it. Try watching without any subtitles at all. It forces you to rely purely on your listening comprehension. It might be tough at first, but it pays off.
That's a great sort of tiered approach, gradual immersion. And
Yeah.
sticking with the fun theme, karaoke. Seriously.
Oh, absolutely. Singing English songs, maybe a karaoke or just along with the radio or Spotify. Seems like just fun, but it's a sneaky way to improve pronunciation.
How so?
Well, you're actively trying to copy the singer's sounds, right?
Yeah.
And the rhythm and melody of music. It's like a natural memory aid.
Ah, so phrases and pronunciation stick in your head more easily because they're tied to a tune.
Exactly. It helps with rhythm, fluency, and memorization. It engages your brain differently. Okay, so entertainment is great, but let's talk about something maybe less obviously fun, but still crucial. Reading.
Reading, okay. I can almost hear some listeners groaning, thinking it's going to be difficult or, a bit dry.
It doesn't have to be. The trick, again, is finding stuff that's right for your level and that you find interesting.
So don't just grab Shakespeare immediately.
Probably not. Start simpler.
Yeah.
Children's books are fantastic, actually. Or graded readers. Books written specifically for different levels of English learners.
Okay, those make sense.
Then, as you get more confident, you can move up to things like maybe young adult novels, then regular novels, news articles online, blogs about your hobbies, whatever captures your interest.
And here's a tip I've heard that combines reading with speaking practice.
Ah, reading aloud.
Yes, reading the text out loud.
It's such a good technique. You're reinforcing the written word, but you're also practicing pronunciation and getting a feel for the rhythm of English sentences as you produce them. Trains your mouth and ears together.
Double benefit. Okay,
Right.
another active skill. Writing. And again, maybe people think, oh, I have to write perfect essays.
Not at all. One of the best things you could do is keep a simple journal in English.
Like a diary.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
Or just a notebook. It's your private space, no judgment. You can just write about your day, what you did, how you're feeling, maybe your plans for tomorrow.
So low pressure.
Very low pressure. It helps you practice sentence structure, experiment with vocabulary you're learning, and just get comfortable expressing your thoughts in written English. Even making shopping lists in English helps.
That's a good point. Okay, let's shift to what many see as the main goal, conversation. Actually talking with people. How do you find speaking partners?
Well, the internet is amazing for this now. There are language exchange apps specifically designed to connect learners.
Like Tandem or HelloTalk?
Exactly. Those kinds of apps. Or even just joining Facebook groups for English learners. Or forums related to your interests where English is spoken. There are lots of ways to find people.
Okay, so you find someone. What then? How do you make those practice sessions actually useful?
Consistency. Consistency. That's the key. Try to schedule regular chats, even short ones, like 20 or 30 minutes, maybe once or twice a week.
Better than one long session every month.
Definitely. And have some ideas for what to talk about. You could discuss a short article you both read, play a word game online, or, and this is really effective, do some role-playing.
Role-playing, like pretending.
Yeah. Pretend you're in a specific situation, like ordering food in a restaurant, or doing a mock job interview, or asking for directions.
Ah, so you practice the specific language you need in those real-life scenarios.
Exactly. It takes the pressure off doing it for real the first time. It's like a practice run. And here's another technique. It sounds a bit strange maybe, but visualization.
Visualization, how does that work for language?
You imagine yourself in a conversation in English. Maybe you're meeting someone new at a party or giving a short presentation at work.
Okay.
Then you mentally rehearse it. You actually think through what you would say, what they might say back. You can even try speaking your parts out loud quietly.
So it's like running a simulation in your head.
Pretty much. It builds fluency, helps you anticipate, and really pushes you towards our next point, which is super important, trying to actually think in English.
Right. That leap from translating everything in your head from your native language to just, well, thinking directly in English. How do you even start that?
It's definitely a process, not a switch you flip. But you have to consciously try. Start really small, simple, everyday thoughts. Instead of thinking in your language, what am I going to wear today? And then translating. Try to go straight to the English thought. What should I wear today? Or I'm hungry. Or I need to buy milk.
Focus on the immediate, the routine stuff first.
Exactly.
Good.
Baby steps. Make it a habit for those simple thoughts, and it gradually expands.
Okay. We've hit speaking, reading, writing. What about listening? We mentioned movies and shadowing, but what else?
Podcasts. Like this one, hopefully?
Yeah, absolutely. Podcasts are fantastic. They're so convenient, right? You can listen while you're commuting, doing chores, working out.
Turns downtime into learning time.
Precisely. But it's not just about having English playing in the background.
No.
To get the most benefit, you need to practice active listening,
Meaning?
meaning you're really engaging with it. Pause the audio sometimes. Did you understand that bit? Can you summarize what they just said? Maybe even repeat a phrase out loud? Really focus on understanding, not just hearing.
So interact with the audio. Don't just consume it passively. That's the idea. It makes a huge difference in comprehension and retention. Now, grammar. The word often strikes fear into learners' hearts.
Huh. Yeah, it can seem intimidating. What's the right approach? Should we be drilling verb conjugations constantly?
Look, grammar is important. It's the structure, the skeleton of the language. You can't ignore it entirely. But it shouldn't be the only thing you focus on, or even the main thing, necessarily.
So less focus on memorizing rules.
Ideally, yes. Think of it more like absorbing the patterns naturally as you read and listen to lots of correct English. You start to get a feel for what sounds right.
You pick it up through exposure.
Largely, yes.
Yeah.
And if you do want to study grammar explicitly, focus on the practical stuff, the common verb tenses you actually need, basic sentence structures, how questions are formed, things you'll use every day.
Keep it functional. Okay, now let's talk about your environment. How can you make your surroundings help you learn? I heard a cool tip about labels.
Ah, yes. Creating an immersive environment, even at home. It's simpler than it sounds. Just get some sticky notes and label things around your house.
Like put a note saying chair on your chair.
Yeah.
And refrigerator on the fridge.
Exactly. Window, door, lamp, computer, mug, whatever you see and use regularly.
And that helps because
It creates this constant visual connection between the word and the actual object. It's passive reinforcement, happening all day long. Especially good for beginners and visual learners.
such a simple but clever idea. Okay, what about making practice feel less like practice? Games.
Yes. Gamification. Turn learning into play. English crossword puzzles, word searches. There are tons of vocabulary apps that use game mechanics.
Scrabble.
Scrabble is great. Anything that makes engaging with English fun and maybe a little competitive, even if just against yourself.
Keeps things fresh. All right, vocabulary specifically. Beyond seeing words on labels, what are solid ways to build your word bank?
Flashcards are still a classic for a reason. Physical ones or digital apps like Anki or Quizlet. Reviewing a small batch of words regularly really helps them stick.
Just memorizing lists, though. You mentioned context earlier.
Right, that's the crucial part. Flashcards are good for initial recall, but you need to learn words in context. Don't just memorize run, move fast.
Learn phrases.
Yes, learn chunks of language. So with run, you learn run out of time, run a business, run a red light. You see how the word works in different situations? That's much more useful than just a definition.
Got it. Learning words as part of phrases.
Yeah.
Okay, so people are doing all this stuff. Speaking, listening, reading, games. How do they stay motivated long term? And track if they're actually getting better.
Setting clear goals is really important, but keep them small and achievable. Like, this week I will learn 5 new phrases, or I will speak English for 10 minutes every day, or I will watch 1 short YouTube video without subtitles. Small wins build momentum.
And noticing those wins is key too, right?
Absolutely. Celebrate your progress. Seriously, did you understand a joke in a movie for the first time? Did you manage a short conversation with your language partner without feeling totally lost? Acknowledge that. Pat yourself on the back.
Because it fuels you to keep going.
It really does. And a vital piece of advice. Try not to compare yourself to other learners.
Easier said than done sometimes.
I know. But everyone's journey is different. People learn at different speeds, have different amounts of time, different strengths. Just focus on your own path. Be patient with yourself. Be kind to yourself. Consistency is way more important than speed.
Patience, self-compassion, consistency. Got it. Okay, this has been super practical. Let's try and boil it down. What are the absolute core takeaways for effective English practice?
All right, the essentials. 1, speak every day, even just to yourself. Make it a habit. 2, listen actively. Don't just hear, really listen. 3, read regularly. Find stuff you enjoy at your level. 4, write consistently. Even short notes count.
And maybe number 5 is?
Make it fun. Use movies, music, games, interesting topics. Find ways to enjoy the process. Practice doesn't have to feel like a punishment.
Yeah, it really can be woven into things you already like doing.
Totally. And always remember, mistakes are how you learn. They're not signs of failure. They're signs you're trying. And that consistent effort, day by day, that's what builds real confidence and fluency over time.
Fantastic advice. Okay, so a final thought for everyone listening. Thinking about everything we've discussed, all these techniques and ideas, what's just one specific thing you're going to try differently in your English practice starting today? And link to that. What's one small, achievable goal you can set for yourself for this week to make that happen? Give that some thought. Thanks for diving deep with us.